Hello, fifth period. One last time, we are going to revisit your YATS graph. So will you please go back in your binder or your notebook to your YATS graph? This is the last time that we're going to visit, so I'll give you a couple of seconds to be able to get that done. Okay, so now that you're at your YATS graph, I want you to go to the demand schedule that you have at the very first thing we did. Remember, the demand schedule is basically the table where we have our price, we have our quantity, and we have our market demand. So here's the first thing that I wanted you to do is that to the left of your demand schedule, where you have that price column to the left, yes, I know you don't have a lot of room, but you'll have enough room to do this. I want you to go and label each of these price points A through H, just like I did here. So A for price 50, B for price 40, C, D, you get the picture. So label them A through H. The reason I want you to label A through H is that it makes it a lot easier to be able to talk about point A or point D rather than like particular price point. So that's why I want you to label. Now, the other part about this is the reason we're revisiting it is we're actually going to be looking at your elasticity for YATS. So in order to figure out your elasticity for YATS, first of all, you have a bunch of numbers on here. So we're going to use a total revenue test. So to the right on this side of your demand schedule, you are going to actually add another column. So the column is going to be called total revenue. You don't really need a whole lot of room, so don't panic if you don't have a lot of room. Just squish it in there. Okay, so total revenue, remember, is the total amount spent at any particular price. Okay, and to figure out total revenue, we are going to take the price times the quantity demand, but it's going to be the quantity of market demand. Okay, so we're going to do market demand. So ignore your individual demand schedules. We're going to talk about market demand. All right, so total revenue, we're going to figure this out for each point along the way. So fill in on your paper as we go. So at point A, we're going to take 50 times 0, which is 0. At point B, we're taking 40 times 0, which is 0. At point C, we're taking 30 times 0, which is 0. At point D, we're taking 25 times 3. So 25 times 3 is 75. At point E, we're taking 20 times 3 to get 60. Okay, see if you can figure out the last 3 on your own. Shouldn't be hard. Okay, you should have gotten for point F, $45, multiplying 15 times 3, for point G, $50, and for point H, $45. Okay, now what are we going to do? Well, what we're going to do here is that we are actually going to determine your total, we're going to determine your elasticity for YATS, but we're going to look at it from point to point. Now, your guys' graph is actually fairly boring at the top, I'll be honest, because you guys have a bunch of zeros at the top. So all of this at the top, okay, when the total revenue doesn't change, what type of elasticity is it? Is it elastic, inelastic, or unit? Hopefully you said unit elastic. So unit elastic is going to be where the total revenue doesn't change. All right. Now I'm going to actually look at, okay, what happens when the total revenue does change? So we're going to go and look at from point C to point D because that's when our total revenue actually changes. So if you look at from point C to point D, what happens to my price? So price is going to, from C to D, price is going to drop. All right, what happens to my total revenue? For total revenue from C to D is going up from 0 to 75. So total revenue is increasing. All right, when our price and our total revenue are going opposite directions, what type of elasticity is that? Is it elastic, inelastic, or unit? Hopefully you said that it was elastic. So anytime they go in opposite directions, it's elastic. Now, going from D to E, we have our price is still going down. So our price is still going down. But look at what happened to our total revenue. Our total revenue went down as well. So when our price is going down and our total revenue is going down, in other words, they're going the same direction, what type of elasticity is that? Hopefully you said inelastic. So we're going to label this one inelastic. Yes, you should be labeling this. From E to F, the price is still going down. Our total revenue is still going down. So this, okay, price and total revenue are both going down. So this is still going to be inelastic. Going from F to G, price is still going down from 15 to 10. Our total revenue, however, has gone up a bit. So 45 to 50, total revenue has gone up a bit. So this is going to be from price going down, total revenue going up. This is going to be elastic. All right, G to H, our price is going down, our total revenue is going down. So again, this is going to be inelastic because they're going in the same direction. All right, now that said, we can look at the elasticity of the entire curve. So I'm actually going to change my color here, and we're going to look at the entire curve from A to H. And actually, we're going to go the opposite direction. We're going to go from H to A. So from H to A, what happened to my price? Well, it goes from $5 to $50. So my price is going up from H to A. What happened to my total revenue? My total revenue is going from 45 to 0. So my total revenue is going down. All right, so price is going up, total revenue is going down. They're going in opposite directions, so therefore this whole thing is elastic. All right, whenever you go and have numbers, you're actually going to go and use the total revenue test. Now, the last thing that I'm going to have you guys do today is I'm actually going to have you guys do a practice worksheet using the total revenue test and the 3 questions test. So it's going to, okay, it's going to look like this. It's going to look like this. And what I want you to notice before the sub passes this out to you is that the first 5 questions, the first 5 problems on here are all going to be numbers ones. So you're going to use the total revenue test. Now, the big caution I have for you is don't forget about these ones in here, number 2 and number 4. They don't have graphs to them, but they are separate from the graph. So don't forget that. Anytime you have the graph, you only have to figure out the total revenue at point A and the total revenue at point B. Ask yourself what happened to the price, what happened to total revenue, determine what type of elasticity it is. Remember, elastic, total price, and total revenue are going in the opposite directions. Inelastic, price and total revenue going in the same direction, and unit elastic, total revenue stays the same. Okay, so you're going to use that for the first 5. Then on the back, on the bottom, you're going to have 5 items on there that you don't have any numbers for. So how do you figure out elasticity for those? Hopefully you said the 3 questions test. So 3 questions test. Do you need to know those for your quiz on Monday? Yes. So what I suggest you do is write out the 3 questions at the top to remind you, and then for each one, just answer them. So luxury or necessity, yes or no, and then what type of elasticity is. Don't forget the type of elasticity, okay? When you are done, first of all, yes, you can do this as a group. You're going to work together as a group, help each other out. But when you are done, you're going to put this in your binder or in your notebook for chapter 4. I will be looking for this when I collect your notebook on Monday. On Monday before our quiz, I'll come around and check that you have it done, and then I'll show you the answers to it. Okay? So I will be back from my field trip probably a little after school lets out if anybody has any questions, if they really want to stick around on a Friday afternoon. However, I will also be in my room by about 8:15 on Monday morning. So if anybody has any questions at that point, I can answer them then. All right, that's it. That's all I got. Have a great weekend.